Well, it is. It is.
But we have meat, and we can eat, and so the Lord be thanked.
Singing in the family, obviously, but
I've got the wide angle lens on. I forgot to work out what you owe to the skiing instructor. It was about 20 quid. I'd forgotten about it.
I tried to find words to say about Nan and Jack, and believe it or not, I can't find any wonderful words to say about them at all. Because over the last, I'd say about 60 years, that all these words have been said before by other people, wonderful words about both of them. So I would like to share with you all today why Jack and Nan are so dear to our hearts, or myself and my wife. While I'm doing this, I'd like you to think about why they were so dear to you. Jack and Nan were never blessed with any children. I am sure, in fact, they would have been wonderful parents. And if it hadn't been from them and their influence and their guidance to Jane, she would not be the wonderful woman she is today. 48 years ago, Jack and I had an appointment. Do you remember that yet? I'll give you a hint.
Oh, yes.
It was in Chester.
Yeah, it was John's Church.
That's right.
In John's Church, where he gave me a wonderful woman, wife, mother, and now grandmother. Now I'd like you all to think about the wonderful times that you had and also why they are so dear to your heart. Jack, this room, the moment, it's full of those memories. Today, and at this time, it's a moment in time. So enjoy Jack and the rest of the festivities today, because tomorrow it will be a moment in our past. I would like to give a toast now, but before I do, on behalf of all of you here tonight for today, I'd like to thank Jack for this wonderful venue, lovely lunch, and celebrating his 90th birthday. So I'd like to toast to a good man, a gentleman, Jack Crawford.
Cheers, Jack.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking to 3 different constituencies. Firstly, to the Duttons, which is my wife's side of my family, and to the Crawfords, which are my side of the family. And the third constituency are a lot of, well, 12, I think, who don't have a family tie, but are nevertheless great friends, and I hope will always remain so. I started off this morning, I thought I'd make a note or 2. I made enough to speak for about 3 hours. And if not, I'm not going to do it. But what I was going to do was to talk for a short time about when I was born in 1915, and what it was then like compared to what it is like today. And I shall do that very quickly. I was going to talk, for example, about the fact that on the day I was born, it was the first day that the Germans, in their first Great War, used poison gas in warfare. And by a great quirk, a great irony, my father happened to be in the first Battle of Ypres when that took place, and he himself was gassed and had to come home to recover. I always thought, when he spoke about it, that he was playing the old soldier, you know, oh, I've been there, I've done that. But it seemed to have been right that he was in fact gassed when I was born. And that follows from that all the stories about the war. As I said, one can go on forever. But because I had an Australian who was kind enough and nice enough, and I thought very eloquently proposed my health, I want to say something about Gallipoli. And when I talk about Gallipoli, I find myself thinking about Charlie Chaplin. It seems a bit odd, doesn't it? But Gallipoli started the actual fighting on the 25th of April, 1915, 3 days after I was born. So what was happening is that the fleet and so on were assembling. It was essentially a naval operation in the first place. The soldiers were to be Australians in the main. And on the first day, at the beach of Anzac, the Australians lost 1,000 men killed in an hour. In an hour. And in the whole of the operation, the Dardanelles, which in fact we lost. We pulled out in January 1916, and we had had 100,000 casualties, dead and wounded. More than we went in with. I sometimes think we don't realise the tremendous sacrifices that men made at that time. And we tend to get terribly sentimental and worked up about the fact that in 2 years in Iraq we have lost 88 men. 88. We must have lost that in 5 minutes. Really, I didn't want to do that. But I said that I remembered, I was thinking about Charlie Chaplin. But before I say anything about that, I've got to think about the Grosvenors. Go on, go in. There was a meeting in Upton, Chester. It was a recruiting meeting. And one of the main speakers was Lord Arthur Gilford. And he came, of course, from Willington Hall. And like many of the big houses, it had been converted to a hospital. And he was telling the meeting that they had had an Australian in, and when the nurses took him out for a bit of air in a chair, he said, "What's that?" He was looking at the grass and the lawn. What's the grass and the lawn? And he had to maybe have a piece of it, so he could check up what it was made of. Now, Lord Arthur Grosvenor was telling people that, and this was a fellow who came from Australia, which wasn't exactly devoid of grass, I don't know about posh lawn, but there certainly was grass in those days. And then he went on to talk about deliberately the fact that our people were about to land, and it would be a fight between the Navy and the Army as to who got to Constantinople first. And either didn't get there. We retreated, cover of darkness, in January. But the point I want to make is it's so easy to judge what things were like against what things are like today. But dreadful things happened in the past. I suppose including my birth, I don't know. But the little piece about Charlie Chaplin, I have in the past done this sort of talk and sang it, but I can't do it anymore. This is what it said, this jingle. Charlie Chaplin, his boots are cracking, the blunted blacking, and his old baggy trousers they want mending before they send him to the Dardanelles. Well, Charlie wasn't, couldn't have sent him, he was in the USA at that time. And in fact, the company he worked with, which was Fred Carnan's, were due in Chester the following week, but they'd let it be known that Charlie Chaplin would not be appearing. So he had, in fact, come to the States and stayed there all through the war. Anyway, so much for the war. Could go on a lot about it. Unless you're dying for me. My judgment is that you're not. Let me have a look at Chester at that time. Chester had a population then of 39,000. But you have to remember that Chester then didn't include Poole. It didn't include the Chester Rural District. It didn't include the Tarvin District. It was basically the old city as it had always been. 39,000 population. It was easy to get a drink. There were 167 pubs. It wasn't too difficult to pay for it. Because rum, gin and Irish whiskey were threepence a half glass and sixpence a glass. Convert that to pence. And Scotch whisky was 4 and 8 pots. And of course, if you take into account that a good wage for an ordinary fellow in 1915 excluded the people in the army working for nothing virtually, it would be about £4 a week. So you've got to be multiplying it by 50 or so to get the same sort of situation. And to get home it wasn't too bad, because you'd got a bit of competition. There were horse cabs and there were taxi cabs. They charged the same rate, a shilling a mile, which wasn't bad compared to today. Shopping, I put this in particularly because I knew there was a preponderance of ladies here. Shopping is interesting, because there were 59 dressmakers in Chester. 59 dressmakers. There were 34 milliners. Milliners. It's not one now, is there?
Yes, it was very good. New one in North Gate Street.
Not up to date. There's 34. And virtually every woman wear a hat for virtually every. And eating out, there were 10 restaurants in the Central Pacific. There were more now, there were 10 then. And some of them were good restaurants. I remember one, the City Grill, which was where Nan's father used to go and eat. It was rubbish. It was part of Chester has now gone because Marks and Spencer took it over. And there, it cost a shilling for a dinner, 5p. And if you were greedy and went to 5 courses, it cost more than 6pence. It wasn't bad. But you think, I'm not saying this because there's so many girls here, but I think the most significant thing that was happening in Chester and in the country as a whole was that women were increasingly taking over men's jobs. We know why, and the way the war, lots of them. And it's interesting to see the reaction. I've looked this up in the Chester Chronicle and Observer at the time. And there was a man called Hughie Thomas, who was the General Secretary of the ADO, and he said, I thought you were surprising to me, he said that he had not the slightest objection, nor had his union, to the employment of women commendators, provided they were paid the same wage. Topical, yeah? Jimmy Thomas, yes. Oh yes, I'm going this generation back. And they had a little piece of tram simply because girls were taking over conducting the tram conductors. And they said, I thought, a bit begrudgingly, they managed their tasks with such skill that schemes will widen in the future. I thought it was a bit begrudging. And on the other hand, there was a lot of worry about women going out to work, and women generally. They seem to be obsessed with their health. And as I've grown older, I've come to recognise that women are increasingly more concerned about their health. Fellas don't seem to bother, but women certainly do. There were two adverts in the paper at that time. One of them said this. The headline was, about your daughter, no longer a child. And it said, if your daughter is pale, complains of weakness and depression, feels tired after a little exertion, if she tells you of headache, backache or pains in the side, do not ignore these disturbances. Your daughter needs help. Lose no time in procuring Dr. Williams' pink pill.
Oh, it's all right.
I look very nervous. When I saw the empty coach, I thought, oh, thank goodness for that.
Well, who's on one?
Jean's been telling me about the book now.
You say to Andrew, Al?
Clean the car.
I mean, does this look like Andy's car?
Andy's car? Andy's is better than that. He's got the super duper one.
Said they got a christening coming in.
Yeah, just like it. Who's this? The beautiful girl Julie from England. I'll get you squinting in the sunlight, Jill.
It just doesn't work with me. Can I just get a couple? See you.
Like 3D photography, this.
Bye. I do. Bye,
Hang on, Mum.
Sunday. Right. See you Tuesday. Yeah. Back to.
There better not be summer pudding. They want to win now.
If anyone on these is me.
That was a lovely day. Yeah.
Oh, he's gone over there.
You said it again.
What?
What's that?
You've done it again.
Watch your back, John.